How did you sort of manage that? I'm sure there's a lot of love from your supporters, and that's probably what drove them through it and all the rest of it. But were you quite strategic in like, okay, how can we make this happening and go through this long journey of recovery?
I had lots of support.
Yeah.
I was very lucky. I had sports psychologists. I had my neurologist, who was Professor Paul Macquarie, and we didn't use medication. We used psychologists. We used support systems. We used these exercise things. But the psychology of these head injuries are definitely a huge part to be propped up. I had lots of different strategies. I had I know it sounds a bit funny, but your brain really likes patterns and repetition. I know there's probably like a bit push out there recently, like try things new and explore, and go and put yourself in a place where you're completely unknown, but your brain actually struggles in those places. And when my brain was already struggling, it was all about patterns and repetition. So no matter how I felt in the morning, I would do the same pattern and repetition. And that could often it was like a set for the brain.
Yeah.
That it wouldn't, usually it goes off track during the day anyway. Like that was and this is part of the learning about these, that help with the psychology and psychologists and things like that would be chatting to me along the way, is that as long as I got those sets in, your brain would naturally start to come through out of kind of trauma.
Yeah.
So, I guess that is part of the, psychological help, is actually to get to really form a really good start to your day, which it's got nothing to do with psychology, but it's like if you just have a routine, it was just basically a routine. And then obviously just see how the rest of the day went. But,
yeah. To me, like what you describe is basically normally the brain has a lot of capacity, and there's quite a bit of capacity also to do new things. But if it's compromised by bleeding, by
trauma, yeah,
right, so many programs might not, or much of the capacity is not actually available at that moment. Mm-hmm. So if you actually say, right, okay, normally I'm walking somehow, I'm not walking like a child anymore where it's really effortlessly, I actually use a lot, I'm not really efficient with it. Mm-hmm. So to bring it back and actually release much more of the brain from this task, I will learn again the most efficient way to do that, which is what the baby does.
Yes.
And so you go there and basically just reduce the effort that needs to be done for moving, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Reduce the effort that needed to be done for moving, reduce the effort that you wake up in the morning, instead of going, what am I going to do today? Mm-hmm. That's like quite a bit of thought that goes into that I do now. Okay, what's today doing? Whereas then it was like no thought. There's just one routine. You do that routine, get your brain set.
Wow.
And yeah, that's kind of that capacity was so reduced that I had to be really efficient. Sometimes you just wouldn't be able to do it, and that was okay, but it was the intention set of like that's your routine to do that. To bring your brain back into a bit more of kind of bandwidth and being able to use more of your brain. But yeah, it was kind of like a lot of reduced things early on. And then as it got on, it was more like, okay, start to take your brain to those areas, those new areas, slowly introduce those. Each step I slowly introduced new things. There was always, 1 step forward, 3 steps back. Yeah. It was a lot of the time. But yeah, that intention of kind of to keep moving forwards, even though you are going to take steps back. But that's, I guess, like anything that you're going to exercise and try to grow.
Yeah.
So it basically was like a muscle, you know.
Yeah, it sounds like that.
And there's like a lot of the psychological help that I received at the start too. You know, you just don't feel like it's ever gonna heal. But I guess if you break both your legs, you don't think you're ever gonna walk again. Like you're sitting there, you. But eventually everything heals, and you're not just walking again. You can walk fast, you can run, and you're sprinting. You can do all that again. It all heals. So, and I guess it's the same with the brain.
Did you ever struggle during that time? Because it sounds like you just had a plan and you were executing it. It sounds easy from my side, but was that, yeah?
No, not at all. Like, that was not easy for sure. Like there was times I couldn't execute the intention that I'd set, or what, not just myself, but my neurologist and my psychologist, and they're kind of all working together as a team, along with the physical trainers. They were we all had that intention to go that way, but we all knew that there's going to be plenty of days that are completely backwards. Plenty of times where, you know, all the things that you kind of want to move forwards are just not there. So actually, I had this great picture of what a head injury recovery looks like. And it literally had like a start line. I wish I could show you, but there was like this. Here we go. I'll draw it here. Here's the start line, and then here's the finish of where you're going to finish with your head injury.
Oh, yeah.
Like you're at the bottom here. This is what a head injury looks like.
Wow. It's not one graph. It's actually just going all over the place.
And then you get
forwards.
there.
And eventually, wow, that's like a labyrinth.
That is a head injury recovery right there.